Yep.
You know. Oh. So,
Okay.
So yeah, it's exciting. I was really excited to talk to you, Todd.
Yeah, and I'm sorry I had to cancel on you, but I was getting my butt whooped by the universe, by the Soul University.
You know what? Yesterday I was exhausted. I was absolutely exhausted. So it really wasn't in alignment that you cancelled. It was really cool, you know. And today I'm like so like fresh and like ready to go. And
yeah, I canceled 2 the day before, and then I think I only had you yesterday. Was it yesterday? And then I canceled. I couldn't do it, man. I was just like, I can't do it. So
we're live.
Yeah, we are live. We are live. We're live on Facebook. Okay, let me set it up.
Guys,
if you want,
share this now. We're going to share this.
Yeah, let's share it out.
Brothers and sisters. This is going to be a big message for the collective.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking a lot about the energies of the eclipse and about, you know, strategies to help us cope with this, with these intense energies.
Yeah.
And yeah. Okay. So let's share this video, brothers and sisters.
There you go.
I'm sharing it in the Event is Happening group.
Okay.
I might go for setting up a watch party in the Event is Happening group.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Do what you want to do. We got it. All right. So let's see here. I need to go here. Looks like Facebook's still having some issues too. Oop.
Really?
Not as bad as they were, but it looks like, and it could be the signal over here. I don't know.
Okay, cool. Let me just go into the Event is Happening, and let's see if we can start a watch party there. So yeah, start watch parties, brothers and sisters. It's really, really engaging.
Oh, I think I accidentally shared it into the event.
That's fine.
Yeah, it's all right.
I don't think they'll accept it twice anyway.
Oh no, it didn't. I don't know where you are at. That's weird.
Oh,
there it is. Okay, yeah, I didn't hit it. That's
okay,
weird.
Great.
It's weird how that gets rearranged. Okay, man. So we got 36 people in the house. While she's doing that, I'm going to just shout out Shanine Banrion. Yeah. And Geraldine over in Ireland, a dear friend. Julia Weiss. Lynn Wheatman. Miguel Dean. Annie Zumo, who's coming on this month. Nuella White. Sue Baxter Fitz, thank you for your continued love, support, contributions. Those are the things that keep us going every day by the seat of our pants. Thank you, Sue Fitz, and thank everybody else for allowing us to keep doing what we're doing. Naveen Kazar's here, Terry Willette's here, Sheila Sen, Cindy Aldridge, Amanda Crystalline, Vera Ingeborg, World Traveler, Michael Kilmer, Monica Peterson, Betsy Ortiz, Martin McNichol, we got to get you on here. And on that note, anyone that's listening, if I've had any conversations with you, if you sent me a message about coming on the show, please accept my apology and send the messages to Morgan. Because if they come to me, that's never going to happen. Bernie Kawara is here. Berna Oziak, who's been a big supporter for so many people, probably the biggest supporter on the internet. And Skoglin. Okay, hello everybody else. They're coming in too fast. There's now 73 people here, so I can't name them all.
Well, I've just started a watch party in the Event is Happening group, so we're going to get hundreds, Todd.
Here we go, man. Here we go. So it's good to see my beautiful sister, Jen McCarty, who's been doing the work over there for quite some time. The event is happening. That's a really badass a group that's really done a lot of good work over the last year or so. And so we're going to have a little impromptu chat like we always do. We're talking about the energies. We're talking about the eclipse and whatever else we just went through, whatever that was.
Yeah. Yeah, so I just wanted to speak a little bit and use our time together just to speak a little bit about what a lot of people are experiencing. I think you guys in America would call it a doozy or a dozy. I don't know how you say it, but it was absolutely like, it's just been so powerful. And I'm kind of experiencing many people in my reality whose relationships are breaking down now. And these are quite sort of like 3D relationships that were quite stuck and quite stagnant. And what with the energy of the eclipse, it's like people just can no longer stay in these relationships that are not serving their highest soul's expansion.
Yeah.
So I think really, really what's going on is that many, many things are coming up now for us to release. And it's like really our old patterns. And what is being presented to us are these new choices. So it's kind of like past, future, past, future. And I'm noticing that there's quite a sort of like a split going on, and it's like super clear, like where are you choosing, like where are you orientating yourself?
Yeah.
And so just to really just remind everyone that everything is very, very pronounced at the moment. This is such strong energies that we're in, and just don't feed the fears. Now's not the time to be feeding fears. Now is really, really the time to be letting go, you know, letting go of relationships, letting go of old patterns. And maybe even for many, like some locations that they're no longer serving them. But definitely this is the energies that we're working with at the moment. Have you noticed that, Todd?
Yeah, I think I'll tell you what I'm noticing, and I may be unique, I don't know, but what I'm noticing is what you said, the split. When people have talked about, people have been talking about this for months, the Great Divide. What does that really look like? I think a lot of people thought, well, these people are going to be over here and these people are going to be over there. These are the good people. These are the bad people. These are the awake people. These are the unawakened people. I don't think that's how it works.
No.
I think what's happening is, especially through this year, each month it's gotten more and more clear. But it's all coming back to the I am, me, Todd. And all my multidimensional aspects and everything that's attached to me, including everything I'm looking at, which is every person on the face of the earth. But what's happening is that loudness, you know, that magnification. If I stay on my toes and I really apply myself and I really stay conscious, and that's not easy to do, which means a lot of walks, going to the beach, my alone time. It keeps me from projecting. It keeps me from judging. It keeps me from having expectations of others or other things. It keeps me from pining for the future, you know, and it keeps, I'm done with the past pretty much anyway. So, but what I'm trying to say is the way I'm checking myself is everything's about me. I don't care what comes at me. Yeah, whatever comes at me, I don't care how imbalanced, unequal, unfair it may be. Something is being said to me, by me, through someone else or something else, and I'm looking for it. And I'm getting some serious doses of humility that I know in my own heart and soul is accurate, and I don't have to prove it to anybody. I'm just saying I'm actually becoming more and more humble. Yeah, and it's not pretty.
Yeah, because that's getting chipped away. It's like the ego's getting chipped away, isn't it? It's like Michelangelo, you know, he was like, how did you create such a beautiful statue? And Michelangelo was just, it was there. I just chipped it away, you know. I just took away all that was sort of like excessive and dross to reveal what was hidden underneath that, which is the divine self. And I think that many of us are going through that experience, and it's kind of like being a blacksmith as well, where you know, you're at the very, very center of the fire, and like we're like pieces of coal that are just being burnt off. And I think so much of that is around other people's opinions of us. And it's like, if we are affected by other people's opinions of us, like whether they approve of us or whether they support us, every time we're affected by someone's opinion, it's like when it's like it leaves a kind of like a smear on that rock, you know. And it's like, if we can be unaffected, it's like that rock is completely and utterly polished. And that is really, really the job, is for us to be absolutely in our sovereignty. And, you know, my whole life is committed to pleasing God, like the God self, God within me and God without me. That is my whole purpose for existence. And so, yeah, and in that, everything just comes into alignment all the time, absolutely everything, you know,
Yeah. No, I agree. You know, and I'm examining. I was walking yesterday, processing a lot of stuff, different things to do with with my relationship, things to do with myself, things to do with Soulogy, my work. And I got this little epiphany came in, and it said to me, what's up with this judgment? You know, what's up with these bias and these prejudices and these, these points of separation that stem from your own mind, which are judgment based. What is judgment? And I said, well, what is judgment? And I heard judgment is a door to an understanding how deep your arrogance goes. And I went, whoa. I was like, oh, I'm on the hot seat now. And so, but no, I took it really seriously. And I thought, okay. And I went to start to examine different judgments that I say are just observations. This is just an observation, you know? It's not a judgment. I don't know about that. So I would look at him and then I would realize, you arrogant SOB. Okay, let's put that one to rest. Let's put that one to rest. And the other 2 points I'd make about what you said is, one is the past is the past. The past is the past is the past is the past. And as I said, past the last time, that's all behind us. So none of that is even attached to me unless I attach it. And then the other thing is, I love what you said about the smear on the rock, on the crystal, on the because we have to understand that we are absolutely connected. Everything we do, this is all quantum physics. Everyone's read about it now or heard about it now. Whatever we're thinking makes an impression. And just because it's another sovereign free soul doesn't mean that it's not going to have an effect on them. Okay. So go easy on yourself. Okay. But don't forget to do unto others as you would do unto yourself, the golden rule. Go easy on other people too. Let's do our best, because we're coming out of this conditioning. We have been prejudices, we have been culturized and all that stuff. But let's remember, that we have a tendency to hold others at a different standard than we hold ourselves. And that's what I'm learning, that humility. And I'm not saying I'm there. I'm just saying I'm seeing through 3 pairs of eyes now since a couple of days ago.
Yeah, that's very, very insightful, Todd. And I think that what's really, really coming up for a lot of us at the moment is the universe is testing us around boundaries. And, a lot of us have part of this amnesia programming, particularly for the divine feminine, is to not really have a language around what our needs are and what clear boundaries are. And so because of that, the universe can't really bring to you your highest destiny. If you're willing to just accept crumbs, if you're just willing to accept like a text here and, a polyamorous relationship or whatever, then, the universe can only respond to the vibration that you are emitting. So like what I keep stressing in my work at the moment, that it is so important that everybody gets clear about their boundaries. Like if you are in a relationship with someone who is dishonoring to you, who is not prioritizing you, who is not devoted to you, who is not celebrating your absolute sublime expansion, that's not good enough. That is not good enough. We are here to be in these higher divine templates, relationship templates. And if you are tolerating that, and if you are enabling these relationships, these low vibrational relationships, there's absolutely no way on God's earth you are going to align with your destiny. And you can go and do all the vision boards and do all the work to align with your twin flame. But if you do not have any boundaries about what you are allowing into your sacred field, if you are not owning the fact that this is holy ground, this is sexual holy sacred ground, and that all those, for anyone to enter that, they must come with recognition and devotion. Ultimately, in the new earth, that is the prerequisite for coming in, entering into our sacred space. So, this is just an invitation to everyone that's watching. Like, that is such a big lesson, and many, many people are not switched on to this lesson because of the amnesia programming, particularly because of the submissive programming around the divine feminine. Our voice, our needs have been so suppressed for millennia that it's very, very rare that even a divine, like I have these conversations with divine feminines about this, and it is just like it's like an alien concept. It's a true concept, but it's not something that they are really, really engaging in with their life. you know. So I just think it's really, really important that we remind everybody, if you are on this twin soul path, this higher ascension path, you have to have very, very clear boundaries. You know, the divine union template is not a polyamorous template. I'm sorry, but it isn't. And so if you're meeting some person who's wanting to like have this polyamorous stuff, and that's not a judgment, that's totally, absolutely not a judgment. People are all free to make their own choices. I'm saying if you are on the twin soul path and you are calling in your divine partner, but willing to accept crumbs from someone who is wanting to have a polyamorous whatever, you are not doing yourself any favors, you know, because you have to set your boundaries. And the thing is, it's so important that everyone remembers this, Todd.
I agree with that. And you know, it's funny. I got a message yesterday from an old friend that said, "Are you and Morgan monogamous?" and I said, "Well, yeah." You know, like this wouldn't even cross my mind. You know.
Yeah.
I think what you're saying is absolutely accurate. You know, I personally struggle now. I understand what you're saying. I struggle with the word boundaries because when I think of boundaries, I think of, you know, stop, don't come near me, you know. But I think what you're saying is, I know what you're saying is basically this is the template. This is the field I want to hold. And now we're in this co-creation, collaboration, which at the core of that seems to be these couplings, right? So now it's the space of two. And you're saying, this is my field. This is what I want. This is what I represent. You know, I really believe that. I think we're in a stage now where the deeper we go within ourselves, the more the strength of our field of energy increases, and it's like you know, in so many words, it's a field of protection. There's things that they don't enter anymore. It's like my boundaries don't even have to be stated because, to your point, the universe is going to bring what I am being, you know, what I am being. And I think what's happening right now is we're getting down to the nitty gritty, internal, infinitesimal, shrouded pieces, you know, the smears that you're talking about, the very bottom of the barrel. And that's not easy to see. And so it's nice to have someone point it out. But I am very careful about everything that's coming into my head and coming out of my mouth, because I realize no matter where it's directed, it's really about me. You know, it's really about me.
Yeah. Yeah, and that we're all one ultimately. And that's a real sort of like dichotomy on the path, because I had my spiritual awakening when I was 21. So I've had my whole entire adult life being awake. And so I have this habit of like projecting angelic consciousness onto every single person that I meet. I just assume that they are holding angelic consciousness. Yeah. And 99% of the time they're not, you know. And so it's this funny thing of like so I have to have boundaries. Even though I recognize our oneness, I recognize there's absolutely no separation, that we are one soul. Like God is like one with like 75 trillion million identities. You know what I mean? Like we are just one self. But because I remember that doesn't mean they remember that.
Yeah.
They don't remember that. Do you know what I mean? So it's like really funny, like coming into sort of like connections and relationships from such a high level of consciousness, and like projecting that, oh, you're at that level, you're going to treat me with unconditional kindness and self-love. You're not going to abandon yourself. So I just assume that people are going to meet me at that level, that I can meet them, but then they just turn around and betray me, or really like gossipy or something like that. And so this whole thing about, you know, we are all one, but we're not here to take shit from anyone. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's so important that and this is again where boundaries come in. Like, you know, even though we understand our oneness, we have to understand that not all people are at that level of remembering oneness.
Yeah.
you know, and so they're coming from that duality sort of consciousness. But that doesn't mean that we have to in any way, obviously we're always planting seeds in our vibration, but I just think it's really, really important that everyone remembers, like, you know, it's never ever appropriate for any other human being to treat you badly, and you absolutely, completely and utterly have the right to say no, that's not acceptable, and you don't even have to give an explanation.
Right.
And yeah, and I just think that this needs to be said, as particularly for divine feminines and masculines that are very, very sort of like feminine. This is a real big pattern, and my spirit team are wanting to emphasize this. This is really coming up a lot, Todd. And if people take heed of this message, this is going to support everyone with these energies, because these energies are calling for quick decisions for us to make those quick decisions, to choose those timelines. It's all about what timeline are you choosing right now. So
I agree.
yeah,
I agree with that.
Set the boundaries. Say to the universe, no, this is what is acceptable now.
Yes.
And that's why, and then you're choosing the higher timeline. Yes.
I love the way you put that, because a lot of the stuff that we process in terms of one-on-one human interaction, right? But it's really the whole ball of wax. So what you said about time, two things. One, that the support, the availability of that supports quick decision making, encourages and supports quick decision making, which means that on the other side of the equal sign, with the support and the availability, the other side of the equal sign is instant manifestation and a higher timeline. This includes, this absolutely includes every single facet of what we will call the matrix, to include rules, regulations, laws, borders. You see, all of this stuff that we got caught up in, GMOs, fluoride, chemtrails, all these programming, TV shows, the news, everything scripted, that was harmless. That was harmless. It's not to be taken literal. Where this thing was, where it got us was right here. If I make the decision right here that there's a border, that there's a wall, there's a law, there's a contract, there's this, whatever, there's ownership, I can't do this because I'll get in trouble. By who? Who runs this place? We do. And it's time to ratchet it up and push it beyond social norms, beyond what we've been doing, without having to go out and protest, boycott, and march and all that. We can do it right where they got us in the first place. And I hate to use the word they, because it's you, me, we, and it, in this beautiful, perfect design. But right here's where it happens. If I can't accept something here, it's not going to happen, and I will be in the timeline that it restricts me to. But we're wide open, infinite possibilities, and we're here creating and at a minimum expanding the given blueprints and templates that we walked into this incarnation with. And I say it's time to go for it.
Absolutely. That's so beautifully said. And yeah, it's just so important that everybody step forward now with their authenticity. And, you know, light workers, you know, like the way I look at it, there's like 3D people that are 3D consciousness people and 5D consciousness people. And I see 3D consciousness people as like caterpillar consciousness. And it's like they're very, very attached to their programming. They're very, very attached to their limitations and like keeping the matrix sort of like propped up. That's how I see the caterpillars. So the butterflies have obviously gone through the destructive metamorphosis process, have completely and utterly changed kind of like molecular structure, gone to liquid goo, and then become a butterfly. Do you know what I mean? And so it's such a different experience, and it's so important that the ones that are in butterfly consciousness let go of needing approval of the caterpillars, because the caterpillars do not understand you. They cannot comprehend you. You're going to piss caterpillars off. Like, you really, really are. You are the very, very embodiment of everything that they are fighting against. But don't let that stop you. And that could be all people in your family. That could be people that you work with. Like, it's just really, really important now in these energies that we all start really, really stepping up in our authenticity and not caring about what other people think. This is so important because as we each individually step up and speak our truth, we are setting into the energetic field that permission for everybody to come into alignment with that. Not only in our immediate vicinity, but also within the collective. We're rewriting brand new codes constantly as we break old patternings. So yeah, it's just it's like an empowerment reminder. Like, no one is going to give you permission to radiate like the queen that you are. Everyone around you is going to be like, well, who are you to shine like that? Get off your throne. 3D people will not understand who you are, that you are a self-realized sovereign king or queen. They're not going to realize that. So
that's right.
So what? So what?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are a few people made comments about being thrown off of Facebook, off and on Facebook. So I put up the Zoom link a few comments ago. Just see if you want to come into the Zoom room, it won't be interrupted. But yeah. And what you were just saying, I was going to add something to it.
Yeah, just talking about authenticity and not really caring about other people's approval. You know, like it's so important. Yeah.
Well, look. You know, here's the thing. All right. I mean, really, and I know it sounds even crazy in these circles, all right? But who at this point in the game, Nikki Hammond did a solo live yesterday. And he said, you know, a lot of things, but one of the things he said was, he said, look, man, the trauma's over. There's no more trauma happening. So we're no longer attached to it. It's not occurring anymore because the math has changed now. And the only way the trauma is going to affect us is if we don't let go of it. So that's a loop. That's a pattern. That's a condition, conscious and unconscious to us. Our job is always to keep looking. I understand that. But what I was getting at is, you know, a soul can't survive. A soul can't survive because it never dies. You know, it never dies. There's never any question in the soul, which is now speaking clearer and clearer and in unison with our other voices and even our human voice, heart and mind. Okay, it knows that. It knows it. How can we be hurt? Who are we going to get in trouble with? How can we be controlled? How can we still be in a situation of giving our power up? All of these people that we're observing at these different levels that you're speaking of aren't going to stay where they're at. They're going to follow the leader. And even if it's these people that you're talking about, such as family and friends that say, oh my God, she's crazy, he's crazy. Guess what? At a minimum, at an unconscious level, their soul sees what's happening.
Absolutely.
They see that you're stepping out of line. They see that you're swimming upstream, and they're keeping an eye on you because they know there's some magic there. And this is this is actually what we came here to do. When I'm talking about we, I'm talking about no labels, but anybody who's got enough intel in their own right to say, I'm here to do something. First waiver, Blu-ray, whatever you want to call it. I'm here to do something. That communication is coming in very clear. That grid of like-minded people is becoming more and more pronounced around the world. People are meeting up everywhere. You've met with a lot of people in Glastonbury. I'm looking at Vera traveling around meeting people. It's happening everywhere. Here on Kauai, we saw Unity Grace yesterday and one of her friends. I mean, this is happening. This is
the
our
event
job.
is happening, Todd.
It's happening. This is what we're here to do. And by God, let's do it. And let's not let anything stop us.
Yeah.
Okay.
I really feel that we're in it. Like, we are in the time of the great shift. Like, I really think, like, you know, okay, the solar flash hasn't happened just yet, but we are in the time of the great shift. I think I read this article about the energies that are coming to the earth, and it said there is not one single human being on this earth who is not feeling the effects of these gamma rays that are pouring in. They might not be able to name it, and a lot of them are going to the doctors and they're like, you know, I'm getting these palpitations, I've got this weird symptom, and the doctors are like, there's nothing wrong with you, there's nothing wrong with you, you know. So we are in the time of the great shift, and it kind of leads me on to what I wanted to speak about what's been coming through. Are you familiar with the in Hinduism, you have like the 26,500 year yugas, and that we are completing now the Kali yuga.
Yeah, the 26,000 years, right?
Yeah. So what my guides told me is that we are in the completion of the age of Kali Yuga, and the Yuga could be likened to like a book, like a holy book, and God's like, I'm on the last letter of the last word of Kali Yuga. And I heard that when the full stop for the end of the age, that's when the solar flash will happen. So what they've also told me is that at the moment we are experiencing the absolute demise and collapse of the Kali Yuga timeline. It's almost like it's run out of steam on many levels. It's completely run out of steam. All there's left is just residues that you can like hook into. There are still residues that you can hook into, but in and of itself, it has no life left in it.
Yeah.
But what they also said to me is that we are operating collectively on two timelines. One is the collapsing of the Kali Yuga timeline, and one is the emerging and the establishment of the Golden Age timeline.
Yeah.
And so this is why it's so important right now, where we are choosing to focus our awareness. Are we feeding the victim mentality, the judgments, the blame, all the lower frequency, the lower vibrational behavior? Or are we focusing on our blessings, on gratitude, on being true to ourselves, of having very clear boundaries, of stating our truth to the universe, of practicing unconditional love and kindness to all? Where are you focusing your awareness? Because, and again, it's that kind of like that split energy, you know, it's like, it's so important what you're choosing, what we are choosing. And for many of us, these old thought forms are arising, these really old school narratives that we probably thought we'd done and dusted, you know, but they're just coming up for one last little sort of meeting. And are you going to hook into that thought form, or are you going to recognize it as part of the Babylon Matrix program?
Yeah. So
I think it's really important that everyone has that overall perspective with what is going on a collective level, that these two timelines are operating concurrently right now. So it's very exciting. So the more of us that can like have a high vibration, can focus on kindness, on service, on being very loving and having self-love, we are empowering the Golden Age timeline. And then once you make those shifts, once you then calibrate to those higher vibratory frequencies, you then jump onto that timeline, and then you then open up your path towards fortuitous meetings, synchronicities, meetings of destiny, the works.
Yeah,
it's all about timelines, brothers and sisters, and timelines is all about choices. It's about choosing to indulge in the old victim narrative, or choosing to focus on that which you are grateful for, the blessing, counting your blessings. Simple as that.
Right on, man. Yeah, because I love what you said, and I would say this too, right? I like the way you put that. So you know, you go around and you be kind, you be compassionate. These are things we could, you know, you be at peace, you be, you honor yourself.
Go before you in the car. Let someone go before you.
Yeah. So you that's something I think we can all relate to. I think we've all had to go there or learn to go there. And it's been an ebb and flow. The thing that I see that puts us over the top, what you were talking about earlier, that accelerates things, that accelerates manifestation. Okay? Because again, it's available and we're being supported. And what I'm talking about is empowering. Okay? All these other things, we've kind of had some pretty good repetitiveness, you know, repetition of it over the last few months, years, whatever. But to step into power, that's something, that's probably the biggest fear when you get right down to it that we've had, which is to get to that point. And we've all had these divine episodes where you're like, holy crap, what am I looking at? Oh my God, the level of light, the level of love. You know, anybody that's had a near-death experience, dimensional experiences, you've all come across this situation where you're just like, oh my God, this is us we're looking at. And so we have this more and more awareness and knowing, greater knowing of what we truly are, because we feel it in our bones. Our DNA is changing. We are actually the gods and the goddesses. We are these mythical creatures that we've read about in Greek mythology and all this different stuff. This is us incarnated, okay? And so it's time we can actually step into this. But to do that, that means we have to defy. We have to defy this, whatever you call it, the Kali, what you call it, that's been running for 20. Yeah, we have to defy that, because look, that timeline is one of disempowerment. And that means every single thing in that timeline, every marriage contract, every single property deed, you know, every pledge, every oath, every religious institution, state institution, border, every rule, every law, everything is disempowering. We're setting a new template. Yeah, we're setting a new template that is actually driven and directed by the choices we make and the liberation that we have within ourselves, the sovereignty. And really what we're doing is we're transforming all of that stuff into this new template, this new timeline, piece by piece. But we have to do it. And that's what I'm getting at. That's how this thing gets empowered. It's not just talking about it, it's actually doing it, stepping out and doing it. And we can do that every moment, every single moment in everything that we do, because we're actually, like you said, we're walking in two different timelines. So that's where the choice, to me, is the choice is, do I make my choice based on the old timeline, or do I make it on the new timeline, whatever that may be?
That's right. Yeah, well said, Todd. I think you really clarified that for a lot of people, actually. So really appreciate you saying that. And I think also we should just spend a little bit of time just talking about like what's coming, like energetically, and the portals that are coming up. So obviously we've got the 7/7 portal, and that's going to be a big one. And I'll talk about that in a minute. But then, and so when we have these portal dates, we have like spikes in energy, and so people will have more symptoms on these dates, and it will mean that you have to drink more water. It will mean that you have to ground yourself. It will mean that you'll probably be very, very emotional. It means that you know, electrolytes are going to be so beneficial for you. So let's just give everyone the heads up of like when these big massive like influxes are going to be occurring. And so the ones that my guide, the 3 dates that my guides are specifically sharing with me at the moment are the 7/7 portal, the day out of time, this day out of time, which is going to be the 26th, which is the Mayan calendar. That's going to be absolutely next level with regards to the opening up of the Sirius Stargate, because as we align with the 8/8, the Lion's Gate, this is all to do with receiving transmissions from the Sirius Stargate, and this is connected to our galactic DNA. And so a lot of us are going to be receiving ridiculous upgrades in this next coming period. So it's really important that we can support ourselves and have an understanding that this is it. Like, this is the shift. This is where the energies are coming, they're pouring in now, these gamma lights, these photonic light particles, they're pouring in, they are interacting with our DNA. They're like locks and keys. And so where our DNA was sort of like manipulated and kind of like turned off, you could say, these photonic light particles are like locks which unlock the DNA that was dormant. And then it activates all of the strands pertaining to our Christic nature, our true Christic angelic nature. So this is all very, very pronounced around this particular time. So everyone's going to be probably going to be experiencing quite intense symptoms like in the next month or so. So heads up, stay on top of that. Don't think you're going mad, or don't think like, oh, I'm the only one. We're all having those experiences, even if you're not on the 5D path. Like a lot of people are having symptoms. But I just think it's really important that on these portal dates that we actually come together You know, come together in your groups, come together in your ascension groups, facilitate groups, facilitate gatherings.
Yeah.
It's so important that we gather together on portal dates such as this, because the powers that were, Todd,
Yeah.
they use these portal dates. They know exactly what's going on in these portal dates, and they have their own little twisted whatever. And so this is why it's so very, very important that light workers come together on these very, very powerful portal dates to send forth our intentions to the crystalline grid, because they'll be doing their whatevers, but we can overwrite that. And the reason why we can overwrite that is because our intentions are aligned with God's intentions.
That's right. Yeah.
So therefore we are so supportive. Their intentions are not aligned with God's intentions. So it's like real hard work for them to like manifest. But our intentions are God's intentions. So it's just like quick, it's like silk. It's just easy, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think now the dates you're talking about is 7/7, right? And then
Yeah.
I think there's a partial lunar eclipse, which I want to say is around the 20th, 21st, isn't it? 16th.
Okay, I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, and then the one you said that the day at a time is July 26th.
That's correct.
And
Yeah.
then we were talking to Unity Grace. She came by yesterday, and she said, I believe it was August 21st or 25th was a big day, and I forget what it was, but it was very similar to the day at a time. It was like a.
Oh yeah. Like
I don't remember.
Day.
Actually, I think I'm trying to remember what she said. What her intel was. It's something about everything will be. I don't know to what degree, but everything will be purely visible at that time. Like everything, there won't be any distortion at all. You know. Now, yeah. I think another thing that, because there has been, it seems to be on the show over the last 2-3 weeks, something I've never really seen before. I've seen people say, hey, it's getting close, something's about to happen. But over the last 2 or 3 weeks, I can really feel it. I can pick it up from the people I'm talking to. I can feel it in the field. And this reminds me of something that Morgan told me a long time ago. As she developed and was part of like a sisterhood in South Australia, she used to tell them that the day was going to come when we would be put to work. And what does that look like? I mean, something to the effect of there's a lot of people out there that are something's going to change so drastically. They're going to be looking at the one that was swimming upstream like you. They're going to be looking at the one that chose to march to a different drummer, and they're going to be going to that light. So I just want to make that point. You know, she would tell them, you know, for years, you know, we're doing all this, we're receiving all this, and I know people aren't listening, but the day's going to come, we're going to be put to work. And I believe that, and I also believe that is coming very close. Like that's very near to us now. And I think that really kind of follows in line with what you were saying earlier about you know, the work that we do, the service, and also the importance of coming together, not just on these portal dates, but as often as we can, because there's power in numbers. There's huge power in numbers. And we cannot underestimate. I mean, our power alone, we're just trying to get a handle on. But when there's 2 or more, it's a new math, and it's exponential.
Absolutely, Todd. And I was just going to say about that, like, what my guides have shown me is that on portal dates, such as the ones that we've spoken about on solstice and equinox, stuff like that, it's like the interdimensional veil is virtually non-existent on days like that. Yeah. And so therefore it is like much more malleable, like the collective grid is much more malleable to our intentions. Yes. And the reason why is because there is no such thing as time. All that exists is the eternal now. And we as human beings have created this idea of linear time and portal dates and such like this. But what my galactic team have told me about that is that it is a collective agreement. We have made a collective agreement that on these particular dates there would be an intensification of energies. Do you know what I mean? It was an agreement. It's like all that exists is the eternal now. Like that is all that exists. Time is a 3D human construct. But we we all made these collective agreements prior to incarnation. Like when we were writing out the plan for creation, like this was written in it, that on numerological portal dates, there would be an opportunity to reach the crystalline grid without much interference from the interdimensional veils. And so this is why it is so, and I just wanted to say another thing, Todd, another thing that my guides have told me, because like you're saying, I feel it's close, and like I'm feeling it's close, and everyone's like, I'm feeling it's close, you know. But I honestly think that the more of us that come together on these particular dates, the more of us that gather and unify our intentions, then we will accelerate the timeline of the solar flash. This is why I have such a huge mission to call together these massive global ceremonies, because we're unifying everybody. Everybody's intention is as one, and it's just like seamlessly just going into the heart of God without any restrictions, without any barriers. And as you said, one person is so powerful. 2 people are to the power of 3 people to the power of, I mean, we're having like 350, 400 people signing up for the transmissions, Todd. You know. And so I'm really encouraging people to be empowered to organize their own gatherings, their own ceremonies, call your tribes together on these portal days, or find other ceremonies that are taking place. But we all want the shift. We all want the solar flash to happen, because it will be the great shift that we've all incarnated for. And so it is dependent on our collective vibration. The solar flash is intricately connected to our collective vibration, so that the more that we can each stabilize on an individual level in 5th dimensional consciousness, and then in that consciousness come together in our tribes, in our communities, to set forth these intentions to restore Gaia back to her original pristine glory, which is always the absolute core essence of every ceremony I've ever facilitated, then we are being, because again, it's God's will, like we are in alignment with God's will. And so it's just, everything's just profoundly, massively accelerated, you know?
Yeah. I think that's important to restate too. The formation or the circuitry of the cosmos, of the stars, of the celestial bodies, planets, and all that was something that obviously was in the design. Okay, now we had amnesia, and those lesser gods, or whatever you want to call it, that had the secreted esoteric knowledge, absolutely followed these formations and alignments, dates. You're right about that. And it is important to counter that now, because you're right about the fact that the support and the availability is more pliable. You know, our impressions on it, create that, manifest that. There's a real, understanding that's coming to me of actually what this is going to look like. We're actually going to be in physical matter, at least partially, in a physical realm, bringing this vibration, as you might say, heaven to earth. This is actually happening. It's actually being done. This isn't just new age cliches and BS. This is actually happening. And it's happening in the most basic way. For instance, somebody's talking about cyber attacks and the problems Facebook's having and such, right? Well, that's true. But we're dealing with a non-physical, energetic force that we're all threaded together on, we're all connected on, and we can counter anything even without a conscious effort. It's simply our frequency and vibration. Somebody tries to throw something at us, like say Facebook, to accumulate names and data and information and to control. It's flipped. There's another side to it. There's a yin to the yang, right? And that's our energy, that's our frequency and our collective vibration. Then in and of itself is creation, and in and of itself is pure love and perfect divine order and our highest and best good. It's not even something we have to be conscious of. What we can be conscious of is what the things that you talked about at the top of the show, which is is to hold that peace, hold that love, hold that compassion, get past expectations, judgment, shame, and blame, and the externalization of anything. Love, hate, prejudice, bias, anything, get it out of the external and bring it into the internal, and the rest of it will happen automatically.
Yeah, absolutely. Beautifully said, Todd. That's so resonant. And so, yeah, I just want to let everyone know that I'm going to be facilitating this ceremony, and it's so powerful what we're being called to do. And we're being called to activate our Antakarana. And this is part of the Hopi Prophecy. And this is part of this shift into the golden age. Because the Antakarana, also the earth has an Antakarana. And that is the rainbow bridge to the earth's fifth dimensional glory. You know what I mean? And so we each have an Antakarana. So in this work, we're being called to activate our own individual Antakaranas, but it's not just for us, Todd. As we activate that in a collective group, we are activating for the whole of humanity, for all past timelines, for all generations to come. We are empowering that spiritual tool that is our birthright. You know, and this is such a key to many of us moving to the next level, particularly with regards to the healing of our physical bodies. When we can really stabilize the Antakarana, then we create a current between our higher self, and it's a very undistorted current that is able to flow very unencumbered. And so with that, then we have much greater access to our healing capacities that are stored within our own, like code within our own system, you know. Also, it will be very empowering in terms of our vibration, in terms of really super raising our vibration and getting us to truly stabilize that fifth dimensional consciousness. There's going to be many benefits, but the beauty is it's an opportunity to come together with your brothers and sisters and to set forth these beautiful, exquisite intentions for our collective. And I just wanted to say, from what you just said, it just reminded me of this download that I got one day, and it was that God created Earth as the ultimate heaven. Like God was like, I love you so much, my angelic beings. I'm going to create a physical realm for you to be in your awakened divine angelic consciousness, and for you to enjoy all of the amazing senses of the physical realm, you know. So, and as I have that thought, I got really strong goosebumps, and I really think it is, and that's why, like, Earth has been targeted, because it's such an extraordinarily, exquisitely gorgeous realm, and so, and we are divine beings, like we are gods and goddesses. And so, like, we're just kind of like so shiny, everything's so shiny, all those lower frequencies have like targeted us. But the truth of the matter is, like we are going there, Todd. Like, we are on the fast track now to truly actualizing heaven on earth, and all of these amazing opportunities that we have to come together profoundly and absolutely accelerates the timeline of the solar flash event. And this is why I'm so guided to share this work, because we all want it. We're all ready for it. Like, we're all ready for the shift now, you know. So yeah.
Hey, after all this work and all these incarnations, even if it was just this, even if this was my only life on Earth, I ain't going anywhere. I'm sticking around here for a while. I'm sure I've been another. Yeah, I'm going to stick around. I want to be here. I want to be here for a long time, a lot longer than a human, what it was a human lifespan.
I got goosebumps on my face.
Now, when is your event? When is this going to happen? On the 7th?
So the 7/7 Gateway to Heaven activation of the Antakarana is at 7:07 p.m. UK time on Sunday. So that's all the sevens, really.
Okay, at 7:07, which is going to be about 8 o'clock. Yeah, about this time. Okay.
Yeah.
So we got it. Yeah, we got to get to the next show.
And just before we go, Todd, can I just let everyone know as well that that I've got a couple of spaces left on my California retreat. I've sold out my residential retreat. I'm facilitating a 2-day non-residential retreat at Stuart Springs, and I've got a couple of spots left. And
is that that's at Shasta, right? Isn't it Shasta?
Yeah. So it's in Mount Shasta. Shasta, and I live in Glastonbury, where we have the red and the white spring.
Okay.
And Stewart Springs is the only place in America, in the world, where they also have the red and white springs.
Okay.
So we're going to be doing huge work with the waters and like recorrecting all of the waters in the earth, and just very, very deep magic. We're going to be doing lots of kirtan, yin yoga. We're going to be doing a forgiveness ceremony. We're just going to be being in sacred space with our brothers and sisters in this very, very holy place. We're also going to be doing like visits to the sacred sites and stuff. So if anyone's interested in the Shasta retreat, because the 3 days sold out, but the 2 days still available. Just
okay, so and when is that happening? What month is that happening?
So that's on the 5th and 6th of October, and it's the day after my birthday. My birthday is the 4th of October, and I'll be 46. And
you're
so
a baby. You're a baby.
Yeah, so I'll be 46. Right. Yeah. So yeah, so it'd be really lovely. I know that your audience is quite strong American based, so yeah, it'd be beautiful if you want to come and meet me, and like we'll talk a lot about twin souls, a lot about ascension, and also I've got a couple of spots on my Avalon retreat, which is the 31st of August, 1st of September, which is called the initiation of the sisterhood of the Rainbow Rose, and that is a very, very deep feminine gathering. A sovereignty gathering, and it's going to be amazing. So it's all about coming to Avalon, and we're going to be doing sacred sites and just working together. So if anyone's interested, I'm sure Todd will put all the links to connect with me. And also, if you're not part of the Event Is Happening group, come and join the Event Is Happening group. Like that is where the 5D party is at. There
you go. Right on. Right on. All right. I loved it. I enjoyed it. Thank you for being flexible with me and coming back today after I had to cancel yesterday. I'll see you later. Take care.
Last thing.
Yeah.
I look forward to speaking to you again. Talk about the 2 suns.
The 2 suns.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
I'll see you later. We'll be back in 10 minutes with Broder Bilal.
Okay.
All right. See you.
Love, brother.
Bye-bye.